Teaching number 96. Sustain yourselves with my word, which is the bread of the Spirit. But for this bread to truly reach your heart, you must strip yourself, even for a few moments, of everything that ties you to this world. No one ignores the way to rise to me, and yet many times I see you cry believing yourselves unworthy, without knowing that crying purifies you and prepares you to reach me. In my word you will find eternal life for your spirit. Analyze it and you will find in it divine essence, love and strength that I am pouring out on the universe. Toddlers and disciples, see how close I am to you, and if you know this, why are there times when you call me desperately thinking that I don't hear you? It is because of your misunderstanding that I have to repeat my lessons to you. I want you to achieve from now on the necessary spirituality to feel my presence, and when you no longer listen to me through this conduit and you find these places where you now meet, apparently empty and desolate, silent prayer is enough for you, the elevation of your spirit, so that you feel my presence and be filled with my spirit. Blessed are those who learn to rise to me, because from infinity they will receive the inspiration that will guide them along the path traced by my teachings. With what joy will the lips of the inspired be opened to give their brothers testimony of my presence. When my word has stopped vibrating through human understanding, the voice of the unleashed elements will speak to men, testifying to the event that this divine manifestation signified. Also when my ray was about to descend to human understanding, nature was moved and the unleashed elements shook men, awakened the peoples and astonished scientists. Do not forget my warnings, so that in the days of your preparation you will not be intimidated by the tests to which humanity will be subjected. Your mission is to pray, meditate and practice charity, the only merits by which this people will be saved from the storms, and by their works of love the other peoples will receive consolation. My word, being lulling to your spirit, does not make you lethargic, on the contrary, it awakens you to a superior life. Stay close to me along the path of thought. Do not let the flesh lead you to feed on material satisfactions or delights, and you will have taken a firm step towards spirituality. I have spoken much in the desert of your heart, without my voice finding an echo in the spirit of my people. Now that I speak to you through these spokesmen, pay attention to the word that their lips pour out, if you believe me and want to achieve peace. No one should be surprised that I look for him when he gets lost or that I follow his footsteps through the paths of the world. Because you belong to me, you are the work of my Father's inspiration. Have you not imagined how beautiful it will be when children seek and love their Father in the same way that He loves them? How different your life will be then, and how close you will feel me to your heart. My word has always been sweet, immutable in the forgiveness and charity that I have shown you. I know that you will have to get up with a firm purpose of regeneration, and that you will return to me what I entrusted to you, with the purity with which you received it. That is why I make you hear my word and I give you countless tokens of my love for you. At the time of justice in which you live, comes the pain that marks the beginning of your purification. Remember that I have prophesied to you a war of religions and that I have announced a battle of doctrines. In truth I tell you that the battle has already begun. Who will see its end? Nobody knows, but I tell you that man will not triumph. In that fight the truth will triumph. I want you to prepare yourselves as good soldiers so that you know how to defend this cause. Today you come to seek food for your spirit and you try to make matter submit and renounce vain satisfactions. You come as good and attentive disciples, for which you quiet your senses and let your spirit rise to me in a tender and respectful prayer. I receive you, console you and revive you. Here are many who were once doctors of law or scientists. Now they bring their minds awake to spiritual knowledge, convinced that in the limited human knowledge they will not find the supreme truth. Here are those who were once powerful and rich on earth, who have now come to the taste of poverty and humility. I bless them for their conformity and for their desire for improvement. There you have a proof of my loving justice by making you come back to earth to show you one more page of the book of eternal wisdom. Humanity lives in a chaos from which it cannot free itself. You need help and I am always ready to give it to you. I only expect from you a word, a brief prayer or a moment of repentance to illuminate your path and convert this world of darkness into a valley of peace, in which man feels possessor of the life that I have granted him. Your mission is not reduced only to save your spirit, it is necessary that you help channel those who have been lost. At every step I remind you of this mission. Until when are you going to spiritualize yourselves? How long are you going to do my will? If you take advantage of this time and carry my word in your heart without mixing your strange practical ideas, if you elevate yourself to me with clarity, you will clearly receive the spiritual inspiration that will feed you, and you will make those around you attain grace and peace in their hearts. The year of 1950 is very close, and truly I tell you that the lives of my disciples will change. After that date you will see the elements of nature unleashed and men rise up in wars of ideas, sciences and doctrines. When that happens, the confusion and pain will be so great that you will want my word to be heard again through human understanding, but I have already told you that this manifestation will not be repeated. It is up to you to prepare for the coming tests and to give courage to your brothers. Be alert, because at that time false Christs, false Elijahs and prophets will appear, and the unwary will be in danger because they will not know how to distinguish truth from imposture. It will be then when you will speak without reservations and you will ratify my words, and you will be recognized as children of the people indoctrinated by me in this third era. Men and women from all over the earth will come to this nation in search of testimonies about my new advent, and my work, represented by my disciples, will receive them as a loving mother. Learn from me as much as you can, so that tomorrow you may become teachers of your brothers. Your charity and self-sacrifice will be the best memory you make of me and the best testimony you give of my word. Strengthen your spirit in my teachings, and you will see that when there is faith, there can be no weariness, fear or cowardice. Practice and work will be your support. In the second era I chose 12 disciples, and they, without asking who was inviting them to follow him, felt the call in their spirit and left everything to follow in my footsteps. Thus I have chosen you, to prepare yourselves and through you to make the call to others. Watch so that your works dignify you and you feel qualified to guide your brothers. Do not forget that a blind man cannot lead another blind man. If humanity needs light, give it to them and take them by the hand like a younger brother. Heal yourselves too, so that later you may heal your fellow men. Be strong in your fight and impart strength to the weak. I give you the necessary time so that you can carry out the work that I entrust to you. Men and women, work for the elevation of humanity. Each thought, each work of yours will remain written, and I will make every seed of love fruitful. You will let me be the one to judge your works, and you will not publish the charity you do if you want to receive an award. Do not seek honors, vassalage or payment. Be humble, charitable and selfless, and I will exalt you. When it is my will to make you possessors of terrestrial goods, I grant them to you so that you can share them with your needy brothers, with those who do not have an inheritance or support, with the weak and the sick. Many of those who have nothing on earth, can instead participate in their spiritual goods. If you who have received my word, do not speak of this truth, the dull and rude will speak. Bear in mind that this doctrine has been entrusted to you, so that you spiritually save many beings who have succumbed under the weight of discouragement and bitterness that the war or the battle that each man fights previously has left in them. Pray in truth, beloved people. Do not limit yourselves to praising my divinity with beautiful phrases. Love your brothers and watch over the peace of the nations. This people whom I have instructed since the beginning of time, will not be able to get rid of their spiritual mission. They must be a guide, prophet and messenger among men. I have inspired them with the perfect worship towards me, and today they will have the opportunity to finish building the temple that was entrusted to them from the beginning. I have removed you from all harmful influences so that you can receive my divine inspiration in all its purity. Only the teaching of the Master and the sweet voice of Mary will be heard in the sanctuary that my people are building in the depths of their spirits. Through the ages I have granted spiritual revelations to my children. In each era I have manifested myself in different forms, and also in each of those eras I have found humanity in a different spiritual degree. Today I have surprised you, given over to a material, selfish and scientific existence, and your spirits have materialized unaware of the value of spiritual gifts. The man of this time is waging within himself the greatest spiritual battle that humanity has had, because his scientific advancement and his mental development are in conflict with the evolution that his spirit has reached. He refuses to listen to the voice of his conscience and tries to stifle his liberation impulses, without realizing that he is living in a time of restitution and justice. Open your eyes, beloved people, and understand that you, whom I have destined to be the light of the world, must not let yourselves be carried away by the passions that subjugate others or confuse yourselves among the mobs that walk blindly through the lifetime. You tell me that it is difficult to achieve spirituality at a time like this, within a life like this, but I tell you that the effort you make to free yourselves from evil, to dedicate yourselves to a judicious and elevated life, is not impossible, but very meritorious. In this battle, those who remove from their hearts the fear of judgment and criticism of others will triumph, and those who forget themselves will rise to serve their fellow men. I, the Master, the Father, have descended through this light into your spirit, and for that reason you have called this revelation spiritualism. Well then, when they ask you what spiritualism means, say that it is the doctrine revealed by the Divine Master in the third era, the doctrine of spirituality. But if they ask you what spirituality is, say that it is elevation of thought, cleanliness in deeds and words, elevated in generous life. You, as disciples of this teaching, frequently ask yourselves if you are making an effort to worthily call yourselves spiritualists. To help you in this work, I have given you my light, because you will be in charge of building the spiritual temple to my divinity. With your union, you will form the temple. Some, because of their firmness, will be foundations, those who reach higher elevation, will be the walls, others with their charity will be stairs, and still others, with their gift of speech, will resemble the bells that call the multitudes with their voices. There will be those who, due to their inspiration, will symbolize the high towers and domes of the enclosure, and those who, because of their love for humanity, are like doors always open to the needy, the thirsty, the sick, the misunderstood. That temple will be completed when the harmony between my disciples is true. Its base will be on earth and its domes will touch heaven. When it is cemented you will find it throughout the universe. Have confidence in that work and work without stopping. No one departs from the mission entrusted to him, so that his sanctuary will not lack solidity. You must all try to reach the same knowledge so that this temple can be built with your spirituality. Watch and pray. Love each other truly so that pride does not take possession of your heart, because this is the seed that destroys humility in charity. Take care that what happened to the builders of Babel, who lost their pride, does not happen to you. Remember that the bad seed was the cause of the division among those men. The tower remained unfinished, and the confusion of the people was so great that they were divided into peoples that even until now, still live apart. A single light has descended on you, that of my spirit, which is like a beacon of light and a principle for your unification and harmony. Take as light for your practice, the experience of the first peoples, meditate on their tests and take their example. Build and work, today in matter and tomorrow in spirit, and continue like this forever until all of you have entered through the gates of love in the temple of truth. Let no one want to stray even one step from the path traced by my law, because a lost moment, a stumbling block, an error, you will bitterly regret. The Master is waiting for his disciples of the third era to follow in his footsteps as well as those who gave testimony of me, in the past time. To you who listen to me I tell you, do not expect to be in spirit to start your mission. If I have come to speak to you now that you inhabit the earth, it is a sign that you have a destiny to fulfill in this mansion. In this fulfillment your greatest struggle will be with yourselves, but if you use your gifts, you will overcome your weaknesses and everything else will be easy for you. When this people has united and prepared, Elijah will announce to humanity the resurgence of the Lord's people. Now think how great your struggle must be to make your life a teaching and a doctrine for humanity. That is why I tell you to examine your works so that you may have knowledge of what you do, but if there are acts or thoughts that you cannot distinguish if they are inside or outside the law, raise your spirit to me, in a true spiritual confession, and my voice, reflected in the light of your thoughts and in the peace of your heart, will point out the truth. It does not seem impossible, this kind of communication, which is the same that I have inspired you from the beginning of the existence of humanity. Today, which is the time when materialism prevails like never before, I come to inspire you with perfect prayer, precisely when the world, divided into sects and religions, tries in vain to sustain its spirit with rites and traditions, forgetting true prayer, the one that springs from the depths of your being, to rise to me along the path of love. Everything in this time speaks of justice to man, and yet his hard heart is not moved. The elements, the plagues, the strange diseases, the daily events in different places on earth, are signs that speak of divine justice. But no one prays, and very few study the words left by my prophets. From the earliest times everything that you see accomplished today was announced, and even at this time I prophesied through the first spokesman, events that soon had their fulfillment. Who of those who now hear my word will turn their backs on me? That only I know. Those who at that time went in search of Jesus with the hope of receiving worldly riches and temporal goods, felt disappointed when they saw that the king that their parents had announced would come to save his people, was without a crown, without a scepter, and without a throne, with his hands empty and his feet bare. They could not recognize in Jesus the promised Messiah. Now consider all the paths that those spirits must have traveled to recover the peace and the benefits that they missed. Today they are among you. Know that your spirit was not born at the same time as your body, but has inhabited different times, and today, feeling my presence, it eagerly comes to me and asks me to allow it to hear my word until the end of my communication. He has the impression that in another time he did not want to listen to me and even denied me, and now he wants to make amends for his mistake. You have verified that no fault is hidden from me, that every mistake has to be corrected and every debt has to be settled, but you also understand that this justice comes from divine love that wants you perfected because you are my children. I do not destroy any of my children no matter how much they offend me. I keep them and give them the opportunity to correct their faults and return to the path they had left. Yet despite the fact that I have absolved them, these are the ones that judge themselves by the fruit of their works and find the right path. The great nations of this time want war. Those who feel offended ask for blood and cry out for revenge, without knowing that they all run headlong towards the same abyss. They do not want to understand that the power they so eagerly pursue will soon turn into a chalice whose content will be pain, despair and death, and when those thirsty for greatness, those hungry for revenge, are in that abyss, when they find themselves in the greatest of their tribulation, they will be able to hear my voice. That tells them my peace be with you. At that moment the light will shine in all the spirits, and their conscience will speak with a clear voice and will be heard by all. The battle of the spirit against materialism will begin within man, and in my doctrine the necessary light to win will be found. You have been disappointed because I do not bring abundance or material riches to flatter you and make you follow me. Rather there are those among you who have to leave their lofty positions to descend into the humility of these multitudes, because they listen to me. And it is that they have recognized me and are ready to give up their vain life to dedicate themselves to meditating on my teaching to practice it later. If the first inhabitants of this world, who lived in virtue, appeared among you, they would give you testimony of the peace, innocence and bliss that enveloped humanity of those times. Also that pain did not exist, and that the earth had the breast and face of a mother, that among the beings that inhabited it there was only the seed of friendship and fraternity. Truly this planet was adorned in the likeness of the heavenly home. If, in my wisdom, I sent the spirits to inhabit this temporary destiny, I still wanted to surround their existence with wonders as proof of my love, so that the son would not forget his father, and in each of his works he would see him and also love him. But of that world, of that freshness, of that purity with which I gave the earth to man, nothing has remained. That sanctuary was desecrated, resulting as pain in innumerable forms. See what you have made of that kingdom that the Lord gave you, so that in it you might be like princes, heirs of his wisdom and his love, possessors of a world that with all your science you still do not know. Hold no one responsible for having lost the grace and peace that surrounded this life in the beginning. Do not blame your first parents, because in every age and in every generation you have been tested, and almost always you have fallen. Despite this, my love and mercy have always been present in your life. Someone says in his heart, Lord, if our ancestors were the ones who failed, why should we be the ones who suffer those consequences? And I tell you, what do you know about the faults of the first? Who tells you that you are not one of those who formed the first generations? For now, wake up, watch and pray, understand that it will not be your love but pain that will purify humanity and restore its dignity. Already on the prepared land I will spill the seed of my doctrine, this one that I am revealing to a humble people who have been able to recognize me by the essence of my word, and who will be the ones to give the good news to humanity at the right time. I want the memory of my word to be indelible in you, to live, endure and be always present in your memory and give testimony of it to your brothers with your works of love. You have been prepared by me in the time of justice, so that you have a proof of my love and you are not going to complain later saying that you did not know what was coming. My justice will be felt by every spirit, not one of them will escape that law. And my eternal love will overcome all error and obstinacy in evil. The darkness will be dissipated and only the light will be in every being. Carefully study this lesson and you will end up understanding that no one is irretrievably lost, that no one will be far from me and that all your tribulations reach my spirit and your works are put on trial. But I tell you that after you look closely at me as judge, you will know me as Father and you will truly love me. In the second era I traced the path for you with my blood, now you have the divine essence of my word and through it you will be saved and you will come to me. At that time, the heart of heart did not believe in me, despite touching my works. What will become of the heart of this time, now that my manifestations are more subtle? Cleanse the glass of your heart inside and out, so that only the essence of life and truth may flow from your lips, and pour its content into your brothers without limitations. Do not be greedy, imitate me, who being the owner of everything, gives you everything. Be my intermediaries with your brothers and work tirelessly in the work of universal restoration. Does it surprise you that your Lord cares so much about you that you are still imperfect? It is that you belong to me, I love you and that is why I have come looking for you. You ask me why your flesh hurts and there are pains in your heart, when I have told you that I love you, to which I answer that if in the second era, I being innocent, suffered for you to become worthy of being with me, now you do not know if you are suffering to help other spirits with your merits who have not been able to free themselves from sin. Imitate me in your tests without thinking about the prize or award that you can achieve, see that you still do not have enough merits to guide others so that they may obtain forgiveness themselves. That is why I am giving you new opportunities to elevate yourselves so that you come to possess what has been promised to you since the beginning of time, peace of your spirit. Why do you fear the world and abstain from work, if my work is pure and only inspires love and teaches charity? You should feel happy because I have chosen you to give you this spiritual mission. Do not wait for the time of greatest calamities to verify my prophecies, nor go to surrender to the fulfillment of your mission just for fear of being punished, because if you do so, you will not be apostles of love and faith. Truly I tell you that those who love me and know how to obey my mandates, are found in me. This means that they became worthy to inhabit the mansion of peace. Inwardly you tell me that the flavor of my word is known to you, that in essence it is the same law that I have given you through the ages and in truth I tell you that this word that you hear through my spokespersons, comes from the same source from which sprang that which I made you hear through the lips of Jesus. You listen attentively to the lesson begun in former times. The Word is the book that was opened at the beginning of your spiritual evolution and that will never be closed. Follow me in the fight, understand my work and persevere until the end, trusting that my charity accompanies you everywhere. I want to see you united and prepared because I am going to turn everyone who has been strengthened into an emissary of my teaching. Every word spilled by the lips of these spokesmen will be fulfilled and every prophecy of my chosen ones who have watched and prayed, will be written and will have fulfillment in due time, as proof of the gifts that I have granted to this people and as testimony of the truth of my communication with man. Open the book of the past, there is your story, read in it illuminated by the light of consciousness and you will deeply feel the truth of the new era. My peace be with you.